Hi everyone, welcome to the Practical Gardener. So today's video is going to be more of a garden tour video. So I'm going to quickly take you around my garden to show you how the garden is faring. So this morning we had some rain, so it looks nice and moist. So this is the entrance of the house, okay, and with this section I have some plants in the hedge while the builders do provide their own plants. So I just, to make it a little different, I have added some plants in the hedge. This section here, which is right next to my terrace, next to the garage, is where I have the water lilies and also the orchids. So the garage we've extended using a glass enclosure and extension, so the orchids are well protected from the elements, as well as they don't get direct sunlight as well. And I like to kind of control the amount of water, and I have a sprinkler system which waters the orchids. So this is where they are. You've seen a lot of videos from me on orchid, so I'm not going to speak a lot on these. Now this section here is where my water lilies are. Today I have some beautiful ones growing, including, look at this beautiful color, and then the purples. You've seen all of these, dark pink and yellow, and then a light purple there as well. Anthuriums down there. Now moving on to the next section. This is in front of the house, so I have the snake plant, or the sansevieria, or the mother-in-law's tongue. Grew both these from one stem cutting, and I have two big pots full, and then behind them is the Areca palm. Both, it's symmetrical on both sides, and right there I have my Thai constellation Monstera. Okay, so now moving this section, this is where the my olive tree is, and under the olive tree is where I have planted white vincas. Okay, periwinkles, vincas, sadabahar. So they look really lovely because the tree, just the stem wouldn't have looked that nice. So you can just to add an additional dimension, and the olive tree has grown really well. It's getting, in fact, I just trimmed it and shaped it, gave it a little bit of a shape recently, and it's again bushing and branching. Looks very pretty. Behind this is the hedge of coleus, the jatropha, and roses as well. So you can see a rose peeping. Here you can see a zizi. This is the dwarf variety of zizi, something I received as a gift from my husband. This one here is another kind of palm. I think it's also called the golden palm. And then this section here is where I have moved some of my adeniums, not all of them. And interestingly, a lot of them are blooming or budding right now. So you can see this lovely pinks. You can see this beautiful pink adeniums. Okay, the section inside, again next to the fence, I'll take you there. But outside here is where the purslanes, or the portulacas, or the table roses, or moss roses as you can call them. I have about 5 pots of those. Now this hedging here has coleus. It also has the pencil stick, or the fire stick plant, and more coleus. Now this section behind my fence is also something I have landscaped, as well as this section. This is mostly bougainvillea, but the hedges are full of coleus again. Okay, so you can see right up there. So till that section, the entire thing has coleus in it. Okay, so now you can see, so this is the hedging, and that's where the olive tree is, that's where the hedging is, and that's where the garage is. Now we are entering through this. Now this particular trellis, this is where I want the coral vine to grow as well, just like that. But this one is white in color, so I'm waiting for it to really take over this particular trellis or arbor. with the white coral vines. It's doing well now. Okay, it kind of took its time to settle down. Similarly, on the other side, I have the white mandevilla. So just in case one of them doesn't do well, hopefully the other one will take over. So that is the idea. Okay, moving on, this section here is more like my moon garden. So wherein most of the flowers are white, or they are fragrant as well. So right from the vinca here to white roses. This is a beautiful fragrant white rose, and which grows in bunches. And then you have this is the Cape jasmine, or it's also called that the wheel jasmine, I think pinwheel jasmine. This one is the clematis, the white clematis. It was full of flowers. Now I can see buds again, and I'm sure it is going to pop up in its full glory in the next few days. But I had really hard pruned this whole section, and it's coming back with a vengeance. There is white peace lilies. Then this is a bonsai. This is a ficus bonsai. Behind that is the white pudica. This is the benjamina, again white and green variegated. These are the hydrangeas. I have some limelight white hydrangeas, and then the light purple or pink as well. So this whole section is full of white flowers, or variegated green and white, and some dusty miller thrown in, just to add a little bit of that bluish white tinge. Okay, and this is like the signature plant in here. Now this here is the gardenia, beautiful fragrant gardenias. So this one is gone, and then this one is almost going, and this one is quite fresh, and then there's one big one here as well. So this is the double petaled gardenia, gives a lot of blooms, and this is, you can call it, the signature of my garden right now. This is the coral vine. Okay, you can see beautiful blooms, and right below the coral vine is my goddess. Okay, so this is the goddess of agriculture. Okay, Aries, and you can see around her I have more vincas. These are purple, and roses as well. So earlier I had only roses in this section, but then because there is a coral vine kind of engulfing the whole arbor, the roses are not getting enough sun, so I wasn't seeing too many flowers. So I have now moved to vincas, because they are like almost zero maintenance. If you want to add a lot of blooms to your garden, and you want to do it quickly and for relatively very cheap as well, because vincas, something of this variety will cost you nothing more than $50. 50 is on the higher side. You can even get them for 10 rupees, $20, etc. per plant. So just plonk a few of these plants around a section where you want to quickly add blooms to, and they will never disappoint you. And they keep spreading, nothing to do, they will seed, spread new plants. Okay, it's beautiful. Of course, I had roses in here, so I have retained some of those roses, and those do surprise me once in a while with their beautiful blooms as well. Behind I have some of these ixoras as well. So that's this section. This is again the white hibiscus, which is more like the candle hibiscus that you call it, right? I mean, these don't bloom, but they remain this way. So this is the light pink. Typically this variety comes in red as well and white as well. So I have the light pink one. Okay. Now moving on to this section, this I have cosmos, which is on its last leg. I'm just waiting for the seeds to drop. They will reseed and self-seed for next year, hopefully. Okay, so this is, the whole plant is blue. So, and then of course it's got its beautiful purple flowers. Now this is the mazunda. It's pink in color, the pink mazunda variety. I have planted a white one also in that section, the moon garden section. Now this also is a cosmos, still blooming with yellow blooms. Okay, you can see one of them there. Okay, these are decorative plants. This is a highly poisonous plant, though I think this also seeds, and then what I understand is it's quite poisonous, especially if you have children and pets. You have to be careful about this. While this one looks like a plumeria, it's not the plumeria variety. It's a similar family, but it's a different variety of plant. I forget the name at this point. If I remember, I'll just put it in the description of the video. Okay, then I have some hibiscus here, and this is nothing but the topiaries, two heart-shaped topiaries, and again the pudica, Plumeria pudica. If again one of those flowers that will bloom, the plants that will bloom through the year, is the Plumeria pudica. So if you need something to quickly bloom, add this into your garden. Full sun, no problems. They'll keep blooming and constantly bloom. Okay, so it started raining, so maybe I'm going down up my gazebo here. Now this is where my alamanders are, or mandavillas is a better name for this. This is the dark pink variety. So I have a few. This is the bigger blooms, and this is the one with the smaller blooms, and then there are a few varieties here. So if you see, this is a different one. This is a red one. Okay, there's red and purple and that variety as well. So I've tried to add a little bit of symmetry. You can see my orchids, some of my orchids, especially vandas here. It is quite a chore maintaining vandas here, because you have to water them all the time, and they get a lot of sun in this section, so they don't do as well. Okay, so right here is where I have the tiny, you have the dianthus, and then penta, more of the yellow clematis, and there's tecoma as well, yellow tecoma that I have planted. So different things that I have planted here. And these are these are not the vandas, these are more of the mokaras that I have in the ground, and they bloom quite a bit. So almost all of them has bloomed so far. Now they are resting, I guess, in winter, and we should see more blooms come through in the summer. More hibiscus, so again very symmetrical. So I have next to the topiary some hibiscus there, and hibiscus here as well. These are some aralias which I intend to kind of form a little bit of a hedge in front. Okay, they are not growing as quickly as I'm anticipating them to. So this recently I had them cut and trimmed to the same size, but I'm hoping that they will quickly grow and form the hedge, or at least the vision that I have in mind for the aralias. Now this is a kind of croton. Again, I have this one full size and a tiny one that I have put on the other side, just to like a mirror image. And this is the other one. It's beautiful with this purple foliage. More of the monstera variegated. I have both the variegated one as well as the Thai corn, both of them here. This is one of those dragon fruit plants, which one of my house help had. She had just put one, I think 2 stems. So one of them really grew well right here, and then one is taking shape slowly. Okay, this is a philo. This is actually a variegated tapioca. Okay, I'm growing it more for the foliage than for the apparently it is edible as well. Tapioca is generally with the green leaves, but then even this one with its variegated yellow and green is kind of edible, but I'm growing it just for the foliage, because I think the leaves are absolutely beautiful. And when they show up in the pop up in the garden, they add so much of, look at this, so much beauty and color and so on, and that's what I like about it. Now this one, you must be knowing the Raat Ki Rani or Night Queen. This one is the yellow variation of the Night Queen, Raat Ki Rani. Interestingly, this one does not have any fragrance. So there are a lot of people who don't like or they get a headache because of the white Ratrani fragrance. They can grow this one. It's really pretty, grows a lot, lots of blooms in clusters. I feel it grows even more than the white variety, and it doesn't have fragrance. So if you're one of those who likes the plant but not the fragrance, this one is for you. Now this one here is again the Aru or Rue as you call it, supposed to be a snake resistant plant. I don't know really, because we did have a small garden snake, which is very close to this plant. So I don't really buy the claims anymore. But it's really good to have this because it's got this very strong smell. If not snakes, I'm sure it's going to resist or at least deter other insects around it. So this is the Rue. This section here, again this one and this one, I have grown this in layers. So you can see the Monstera, and then you can also see the sandpaper vine. Now the blooms are gone, the purple blooms, but you can see the blooms have changed color to the light grey kind of shade. So I have the Monstera and sandpaper vine there, and then the section behind I have the rubber plants. Okay, so there are 2 rubber plants here, and this section I have about 4 rubber plants. Okay, so you can see 4 different varieties here. So you can see this one, and rubber plant is nothing but the Ficus elastica. Okay, so this is one variety. This is the other one, which is that green and yellow leaves. This one is this beautiful pink green kind of a very camouflagey military kind of a color combo. And then of course you have this one, which is more like a Elastica albo. I don't know the exact names. I do have a video in which I have researched the names and told you more about this. I forget them now. And then this is the regular variety of rubber plant, which is the most common one. Okay, and then I also have this growing. This is the Passiflora, or it's called the Lakshman pool, so beautiful. Yesterday it was blooming, so today it's gone down. Okay, then this side here is more of the adeniums. Okay, this section here, and then here I have some more plants growing, more of them being Hoyas. Okay, so I've already covered this in other videos. So you have the heart-shaped Hoya, you have different Hoyas here. Okay, Hindu rope, etc. So all of these are in this section. Okay, this is my Christmas tree, which I'm growing in the pot so that I can restrict and control the growth, because the issue with the Christmas tree growing directly in soil is that you have no control over its height and length, and the challenge is you can't really trim a Christmas tree because the look of the tree is really its top, right? So if you kind of trim the tree, it doesn't look very good. That is why I'm kind of growing it in a pot and want to limit it or grow it like a bonsai. Now this section here is the edible garden. Not going to spend too much of time here. This is where the water apples are. I have a tomato growing here. Here more orchids. This is the Barbados cherries. Water apples, you can see some fruit, or rather the flowers right here. I mean, it's full of blooms, and which will hopefully convert into fruit. And this is just about a year old, not more than that. Same thing with the Barbados cherries. So I have a separate video on Barbados cherries. So see this whole stem, see how many are there. So lots of fruit. Okay, I need to do some trimming because there's a papaya again, a volunteer papaya that's come up. This is butterfruit or the avocado as it's called. This is a star fruit tree. More papayas with fruit here. This is amla or the gooseberry tree, but not the regular gooseberries. These are those other kind of gooseberries that are sweet and tart. Okay, so I have a curry leaf plant, two different varieties, a nati variety and then the regular curry leaf. This is called a garam masala plant, something I picked up from Kerala. Okay, so these leaves are very different from bay leaves. So this is your garam masala plant and this is the bay leaf plant. So you can see the leaves are different. Okay, but garam masala plant, it seems as if, you know, if one leaf and if you crush it, it seems like the entire, all the garam masalas are part of that. There is a moringa here and of course another avocado tree that is popping up as well, again which needs some trimming so that moringa gets its own place to grow. This is the pandan or the biryani leaf as it's called. Here, down here, I've trimmed most of this, but this is where my mint grows. Okay, and also other things like basil, Thai basil, Italian basil. I have all of those growing here. More of the herb and edible section of the garden. Okay, and then this is where I have the ajwain growing as well, Dodda Patre as it's called. This is the custard apple, sitaphal. This one is the Malabar spinach, again which is climbing up. Okay, pomegranates. This is the pomegranate tree and I have a few fruit that have just popped up, lots of flowers and a couple of fruit that I did see recently. See, they're there. I don't think you can see it well, but yeah, there are some fruit forming there and then somewhere there down there as well. Okay, and then this is the sapota or the chiku, and this has quite a few fruit as well, big sizes. That almost every stem has blooms and fruit popping up. Very excited about this, and this is not the first time we've seen fruit on this. I mean, this has been bearing fruit from the time I planted it, like 6 months in. This has been giving me very, very tasty papaya chikus. Okay. Now here in this, I am trying to grow potatoes. So this is a neglected section of the garden, but yeah, I'm just trying to grow some herbs and potatoes. And this one here is where my succulents are. Okay, some of the succulents are here in pots and some of them are growing here. You have the Thanksgiving and cactus, and this was the volunteer tomato plant, which kind of, we have harvested a lot of these cherry tomatoes. I mean, we've been using them for most of our salads. Very sweet and tasty cherry tomatoes. You can see lots of them. Recently I did trim this. Now this section you have seen multiple times. This is where the shade garden is. Okay, so right from the 4 o'clock plants to lots of these elephant ears or the colocaceas, aglaonemas. This is the pink princess, the philodendrons, you know, regular burley marxie. You can see a lot of different plants. You can see the Diffenbachia or the dump cane as it's called. You know, different colors of mirabilis or the 4 o'clock plant, or it's also called marvel of Peru. This is the Periso verde. You can see this lovely addons. This one is the Lecheriana, Monstera variety, Monstera lecheriana, or the Swiss cheese plant. Now this one is a white marvel of Peru. You know, more alocaceas and colocaceas here. Some crotons also thrown in, prayer plants. You know, look at this. This is the foliage anthurium. Look at the size of this. This is a magnificum. The leaf is huge. Okay, more aglaonemas thrown in. This is the stingray alocasia. See the size of this, and it has this long leaf thing like a stingray. Okay, and then of course I have the Mickey Mouse plant and more of the variegated. Look at this beauty of this leaf. Variegated alocaceas, a different variety of Dieffenbachia. I'm not showing this section too closely because there are multiple videos on this, so please have a look at them on the channel. So anything shade loving comes in this. And then I'll wrap up with this one. This is the back side of my orchid garden, and then there is a nice little vanda here, vanda orange, that is blooming. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. So I think you have a good picture now of the garden, all on the four sides. So what I have in front, back, and on the two sides. So one side, the front side, is where I have most of my big trees, plants, etc. The back is where I have the edible garden, which has all the fruit trees and herbs. And then on the side, north side, I have all the shade loving plants, the alocaceas and colocaceas. And right in front of the garage, next to the garage so to speak, with an extension, is where my orchids and the water lilies are. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I've really enjoyed sharing my garden with you. Yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.